welcome everyone to Love and the Planets, and I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz on Long Island.
Well, Armand in Long Island, we've got a very interesting week, don't we? I mean, we've got a good start from about Tuesday, really, when Venus is sextile Pluto. And of course, Venus is still in Scorpio. So this is kind of a bit of a double whammy in terms of relationships, in terms of intensity. Yet, the good note is that the sun goes into Sagittarius. So we've got a bit of lightness, a bit of upbeatness, we've got a bit of travel, it's dynamic. It is also freedom oriented, which is kind of a little bit in conflict with the Venus in Scorpio, which really isn't about freedom. I mean, what do you think about this?
Well, before the sun goes into Sagittarius on Tuesday, we're going to start the week with the sun at the very last degree of Scorpio. So it's going to start out very intense. I do agree that the sun in Sagittarius is going to lighten things up a little bit, like in the big picture. And Venus sextile Pluto, it really could be an opportunity to increase intimacy, to get closer. It could be.
Could be a bit of passion, really. So it might be really, and that's probably the best time of the week for it, really. Because then, of course, on Wednesday, we've got Neptune going stationary direct. So, I mean, Neptune has been going retrograde since last June. So I think that's kind of given a sense, a little bit of confusion around. I think when it goes direct, and of course, Neptune is so slow that even when it starts going direct, it still takes a while, I think, to rev up. It's not a very fast kind of moving planet. But I think there is more of a feeling of really our dreams can come true. That's what I tend to associate with Neptune. And that real sense of, it's almost like it is an opening of the heart, that we don't have to be so protected anymore.
I agree, and I think that is part of Neptune direct for the next 6 months. However, right around Neptune stations, things tend to get a little bit foggy. And with the Venus Pluto aspect, with the sun at the last degree of Scorpio just before the Neptune station, yeah, I mean, I could really see where either hopes and dreams or fears and fantasies and things like that could get a little out of hand. Mercury is now in the shadow of his upcoming retrograde, so we're kind of we could exaggerate things a little bit this week. Which it could be fun. It could be fun, or it could be not so fun. But I think that it may not be the most realistic thing. It could be romantic and passionate, but not necessarily realistic.
That's so true. I'd forgotten about Mercury going into shadow. So that's going to kind of be interesting in terms of the lineup to holidays, because of course, holidays can be challenging times in relationships where, there can be more conflicts, there can be more resentments, there can be a lot of stress. And we'll talk about this in more recordings, of course. But I think the Mercury retrograde coming up and the Mercury in shadow really puts a little bit more pressure. Plus the fact that, of course, Mercury is very busy towards the end of the week. I mean, he's square Chiron in Pisces on the Friday. Then he's trine Uranus in Aries. So there's possibilities for misunderstandings, for confusion, for just saying something and then thinking afterwards, why did I just say that? Or what did I just say?
Indeed. And we are at the active first quarter moon on Sunday. So, as we get into the weekend, we're coming out of that sort of sleepy, dreamy new moon phase that we sort of start the week with. And we might be a little more inclined to say something. We might be a little bit more inclined to sort of get things moving. And again, if it's based on sort of faulty information that we picked up, or if it's based on our fears and fantasies and so on, it could be a bit of a problem. On the other hand, it could make for a fun time for a lot of folks too. But it's certainly, much more active, a little bit more volatile time at the end of the week, towards the weekend.
And also to add to that, that of course Venus is going to be trine Chiron. So I think we might be feeling a little more sensitive in our relationships, and just to be aware, that again, together with the possibility of misunderstanding, to maybe just take a breath and step back if somebody says something to us, particularly in a close relationship, because it could just be that we're a little sensitive or there's a misunderstanding.
I mean, it is an opportunity with Venus in Scorpio, ready to dig. It is, an opportunity for healing too. It is an opportunity to, kind of open and thereby cleanse wounds. But who wants to have their wound opened and cleansed?
Absolutely, and particularly at the weekend. So
Yeah. It's okay
yeah.
on a Tuesday, but
Absolutely, absolutely. We can handle that at the beginning of the week. That's what the beginning of the week is for. Well, on that optimistic note, we will leave everyone, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Take care, Margaret.
Bye-bye, Armand.